Hi, my name is Bard Parnell, and I'm back with another topic I find relevant. I hope that you do too. Feel free to give me some feedback or comment or ask any questions. In today's world, in the intersection of everything that's going on professionally, there are a number of really great organizations that are discussing energy strategies. Energy strategy really comes down to a lot of things that we do takes away our energy, and we need to be mindful of things that we do to build our energy back. I don't want to go into the deeper theories of that because like I say, there are great companies and organizations that are focusing on that from a psychological, physiological perspective. What I want to address is comments that I have been hearing frequently as I have these conversations with people. And a lot of time those conversations come back to me with great theory, how do you apply it? What does that mean for my day-to-day experience? Or, Bart, I'm in meetings for 7 to 8 hours a day. I don't have time to be thinking about those types of things. And I think that there are tactical things that we can be thinking about individually and as smaller groups to improve that space for everybody. So I want to go through some of my tips and tricks that I consult people on and teach, and I try to live as well. So the first one is meeting times. Outlook's default, if you live in the world of Outlook, is either a 30 or a 60-minute meeting. Those are the standards. You can actually change that. There is a setting in Outlook that you can go to that changes, and I've changed mine from a 30-minute to a 25-minute meeting, and from a 60-minute meeting to a 50 or 55-minute meeting. Now, what that allows people to do is have a passing period. Now, why does that impact energy management? Well, if people have a high level of anxiety about missing emails or urgent things that are going on, they actually get time in between meetings to take care of those things and allow them to come into the next meeting with a clear head and focused. For people like me, it allows me to get up and walk around. You can get water, coffee, take a bio break. It gives you a chance to step away for just a few minutes rather than going through that marathon of 7 or 8 back-to-back meetings, which just aren't as valuable and kind of breaks your mental space down. So I would encourage you to do that. I think once you begin doing that, you'll get questions and commentary, and that's good because you can lead out and talk about the value of doing those things. And then hopefully that expands to your team. I would challenge you that if you don't see that, maybe nicely challenge people and say, hey, can we do a 25-minute meeting instead of a 30-minute meeting? I really don't think people will give a lot of pushback on being more efficient in meetings and giving space between. The second part of that obviously then goes to meeting efficiency. We need to get better at meetings. I think that some of the things that I apply to this is if I get a meeting invite and it doesn't have a stated objective or agenda, I push back and say, why do I need to be in this meeting? What is the purpose of it? What are we trying to accomplish? Who else is involved? I saw years ago a really fun exercise. We got into a very large meeting. There were 25, 30 people there. And kind of the financial leader of the group looked around and said, this meeting is costing us, and did a quick calculation of everyone's dollarly rate and kind of laid out, is this meeting worth that money? And everyone kind of stopped and went, whoa, that's a big amount of money. Can I justify this? And so I would push back on meetings to say, what are we truly trying to accomplish? Is this the best use of our time? Be efficient with it. But efficiency isn't just minimizing everything, it's doing the right things. Sometimes the right things to do in the meeting is to have a conversation with a friend or a colleague, ask them how they're doing, and connect at a human level. Sometimes the right thing to do in a meeting is to identify key actions or things that need to occur. Sometimes it's giving feedback. So I'm not saying just reduce and minimize. That's the wrong letter of the law. What I'm talking about is making sure that your clear intent is voiced and that you accomplish that thing. The second part of, or I guess the second, or maybe the third part of this, another one of the tips that I offer is make sure you're applying a racy mindset to meeting invites. Who needs to be consulted, who should be just informed, maybe don't need to be there, who's accountable, responsible for these actions, and so we're getting those right people together. The next bit of this is collaboration. I heard this on a podcast a while ago. I really loved it. Not every collaborative effort needs a meeting to start. Getting into a meeting and saying, hey, let's think about something and talk about next steps and build an action plan. Well, you can, in theory, do all that outside of a meeting. If it's your initiative, put some pre-work into it. Assign everybody some homework. Have them come into that meeting with some of those things already done so that meeting's focus is collaboration, which is really one of the best reasons to have a meeting. And so by putting some of those other steps in place, asking people to come into it prepared, you're going to get the most value out of that meeting without burning everybody out on multiple meetings on the same topic without actually getting anywhere. The next thing that I would say is recognize how and where meetings are important for relationships. And I mentioned this briefly before. Some people thrive in the social, interactive space of a meeting, and that's good. It's valuable. It builds their energies. Some people, it burns them out. And so, whether you're a love meetings or a hate meetings, or maybe love and hate is too harsh of a language, if it drains you or it builds you up, be mindful of that. And be mindful and ask questions. Like, ask your team, do you like meetings? Do you not like meetings? Do they burn you out? Like, how does it make you feel? That awareness allows you to be more mindful on when you set those meetings up and making sure you've got a clear purpose, because you want to help people navigate that energy space that they're in. The last advice that I would give is depending on the maturity of your team or organization, you're going to have more flexibility to do these kinds of things. And it's important to, one, be aware of that maturity so that you don't stumble into some faux pas or something that's really going to damage your relationship with your manager, your team, your associates, everything that's going on there. So spend some time gauging that maturity. But then I would also challenge you to be a leader in that space. Have the crucial conversations, have the difficult conversations, whichever model that you ascribe to. Have some courage, create some safe space, and then have a dialogue on how meeting times, scheduling, calendar invites are impacting your energy throughout the day, so you can have a real honest conversation tactically on things that you can do to give you just a little bit more time so that you can deliver your best work, right? Having energy throughout the day is not just about stepping away from work, it's about leveraging that energy to do your best work. So I'd be curious to see what you think about this. And if you have any other tips that you think are especially valuable, I would love to hear them. I'm always looking for new ways to improve my personal energy and work style as well. I hope you have a great Friday, great weekend, and we'll talk to you later.